1. What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and today we're going to be talking about, yes, the monster in the image that you see in front of me. This is the Gate Guardian, and this is a very iconic Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster from the original Duel Monster series. And funny enough, he actually made an appearance in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series. Under the control of the duo Duelist, Para, and Dox. Um, Recently here in TCG, it was announced during the reveal it was unveiled during the reveal of the Maze of Memory sets. For many of the TCG Yu-Gi-Oh influencers, as they're called, that yeah, Gay Guardian was getting support. This was like an announcement they made weeks or actually a couple months ago about the Maze of Memory, and that they were creating support for the Gate Guardian. But no one really knew exactly what they were going to do. Well, they unveiled it, and ironically enough, I showed this to a friend of mine, and his exact words were, "Wow, they ABC Dragon Bustered the Gate Guardian." I guess that's the way to say someone in this series. And I was like, well, you aren't wrong, because yeah, they made fusion monsters of the Gate Guardian. So combine the pieces that you would like, and they made a fusion monster out of each of those combinations. Funny enough, only one of them is actually a combination of things that has happened in the Yu-Gi-Oh series during the duel between Paradox and Yuki and Joey, while the others are just resemblance of things that could have potentially have happened. And then there's also monsters that were used in the duel itself that have also gotten cards to support the monsters that make up this card, which are Kazijin, Suijin, and Sangha of Thunder. So when we go ahead and we take a look at everything. So the first card that you're going to see here is the retrain of Labyrinth Tank. Yeah, that iconic monster that was used in their duel. Labyrinth Heavy Tank is a level 7 Dark Attribute Machine type monster with 2400 attack and defense. Its effect reads, this card can be normal summon without tributing, but cannot attack the turn as normal summon. During your main phase, you can place one Sangha of Thunder, Kazijin, or Suijin that is banished in your hand or deck F into your spell attack card zone face up. Then, if you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, and you only use each effect of this card once per turn. So, like I said earlier, the Labyrinth Heavy Tank is a retrain of the fusion monster known as Labyrinth Tank. That monster, I believe, needs a Gene Tech Werewolf and I believe Cannon Soldier to be fusion summoned. Ironically enough, I don't think the attack and defense of either of those monsters combined made the same stats as this monster. But yeah, this monster itself holds the same stats as the original Labyrinth. The same attack, defense, level, type, and attribute. And funny enough, the image that this card is using is actually the image of it from when it attacked Joey, Yugi, Mai, and Mokuba while they were in the virtual world trying to free and rescue Seto. As they ended up in the labyrinth and they were actually running away from the labyrinth tank that was chasing them down. Actually, three of them. And luckily, thanks to Yugi, they were able to escape using Yugi's magical hats. Moving on, we have another iconic monster. This is Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. Level 5 Dark Attribute Zombie type monster with 1600 attack and 1300 defense. This effect reads, you can discard this card to add one Labyrinth Wall from your deck to your hand. At the start of the damage step, if this card if your opponent's monster battles while you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can manage this card from your graveyard and destroy that monster. You can only use each effect of Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth once per turn. So, ironically enough, Shadow Ghoul in the card wall Shadow were cards used in addition to the Labyrinth Wall in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card series by Para and Dox. Funny enough, it isn't the first duelist to use Shadow Ghoul, as we see later on in the series. Rebecca Hawkins also used Shadow Ghoul in her deck, and actually was themed around particular playstyle for that. But that's a different story. Anyway, Shadow Ghoul itself and Shadow Ghoul Labyrinth share the same attack, defense, level, type, and attribute between each other. The only difference is that this Shadow Ghoul doesn't even use the effects that the original Shadow Ghoul used It pertains to its own, and in basis just use a similar method of summoning or play style that was in remnants of the duel with the Paradox Brothers in Yugi and Joey, where it was able to manipulate itself through the walls and then attack its prey. Next up is, of course, the monster we're here to look at itself and who you saw earlier. This is Gate Guardian Combined. It's a level 12 Dark Attribute Warrior type fusion monster with 2750 attack. 3750 attack and 3400 defense. Requires Sangha, Suijin, and Kazijin. Must be social summoned by banishing the above cards from your field, hand, or graveyard. Your opponent activates a spell or activates a card or an effect that targets cards and cards you control. Quick effect, you can negate the effect, and if you do, destroy that card. You only use this effect with Gate Guardian combined thrice per turn. So yeah, you got 3 times per turn to activate this card's effect. If the face of the card is special summon, while the face of the card is special summon in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition. So this thing has the ability to summon Gate Guardian monsters, whether they're from the extra deck or from the main deck. Meaning, yeah, we have a way to summon Gate Guardian without trouble. Only thing is, we still gotta assemble this thing. Don't worry, a lot of the newer cards are going to help put that fruition into play. Next, let's move on to, well, what happens when monsters start losing pieces? Well, Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind is that example. It is a light attribute thunder type fusion monster, level 9, with 2500 attack and 2200 defense. This monster requires 1 Sangha of the Thunder and 1 Kazijin. Um, just for reference, I'm only going to read this effect once, but it must be summoned from the extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. During your main phase, its actual effect is that you can add 1 spell or trap from your deck that mentions Saga of Thunder, Kazijin, and Suijin. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind once per turn. And then this effect here is if it's special summon, this card, while in its owner's control, leaves the field. Because of an opponent's card, you can summon one of your banished Sangha of Thunder or Kazijin. For reference, there's a few more fusion monsters that do a similar thing. I will just read off the main effect that those monsters have, as well as their stats above and what is needed for their summon. This monster, of course, is based off of when Suijin died in the Yu-Gi-Oh manga and anime to one of Yugi and Joey's monsters' attacks. Or they got a combined strategy between them. Which I think, it was Summon Skull that destroyed Suijin, and it left Sangha and Kasijin by themselves. Love the fact that they're going to be able to get a spell or trap that mentions them from the deck to the hand, so it's that way easier to do a lot more searching for them. Too bad it's attached to a fusion monster. But this monster shares the same type and attribute as Sangha of Thunder. Next up is Gate Guardian of Wind and Water, level 9 Wind attribute, spellcaster type fusion monster with 2450 attack and 2300 defense. Requires Kazijin and Suijin. This monster effect reads that once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or an effect on the field, quick effect, you can negate that effect. You only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Water and Wind twice per turn. This monster, when it's destroyed, will be able to special summon either Suijin or Kazijin. So this is basically if Sangha got destroyed and it left Suijin and Kazijin by themselves. This monster shares the same type and attribute as Kazijin, which is the element of wind. Next up is Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder. Level 9 water attribute aqua type fusion monster with 250 2550 attack and 3 and uh, and 2300 defense. Requires 1 Suijin and 1 Saga of Thunder. Once per turn once per chain, quick effect, you can target up to 1 monster your opponent controls and change it attack to 0 until the end of the turn. You only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Water or Thunder twice per turn. And of course, if this monster left the field, you can special summon one Suijin or Sangha of Thunder. So this is basically if Kasijin got destroyed and the other two pieces were left to fend for themselves. This monster takes the same type and attribute as Suijin, which is funny enough because it's one of the materials that makes this monster. Next up is Labyrinth Wall Shadow. This is the field spell for the archetype. Monsters cannot attack the same turn they are summoned unless their original level is 5 or higher. Once a turn during your main phase, you can place one Sangha, Kazijin, or Suijin that is banished in your hand or in your deck. Face up in your spell and trap card zone as continuous spells. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can target one monster your opponent controls with less than 1600 attack and destroy it. So this card is based off of when Wall Shadow attacked one of was attacking monsters on the field. As you can see, the image of Shadow Ghoul in the artwork moving itself around through the labyrinth wall. Now, this was a tactic used by Para and Dot as they were doing it to destroy a lot of Yugi and Joey's monsters that were ever so bold to step into the maze. Funny enough, I believe Wild Shadow ended up being defeated by Yugi and Joey setting up a trap to take on those monsters and then use Kunai with Chain and I think Axe Raider to destroy the Shadow Ghoul itself. Not only dragging it out of the labyrinth wall, but also having, I believe, it and Celtic Guardian taking them on. Next up is Double Attack, Wind and Thunder. Quick play spell. If you can control a Gate Guardian monster, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add one Sangha of Thunder, Kazuji, or Suiji that is banished or in your deck to your hand. You only use this effect of Double Attack, Thunder, and Wind and Thunder once per turn. So this is when when Kazuji and Sangha combine their attack to destroy monsters on the field. I didn't really think this was supposed to be aimed at Dark Magician, and luckily enough, Dark Magician, I think, evaded both effects. One was by using magical hats, the second was when Yugi used Monster Reborn to bring back Suijin, who used Tidal Surge to protect Dark Magician from being destroyed. Love the artwork too, because this definitely displayed that attack in motion. Next up is Ryoku Guardian. This is a normal spell card. Its effect reads if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can target one monster you control with Gate Guardian in its original name. And half your opponent's life points, then that monster will gain attack equal to your opponent's life points. You can banish this card from your graveyard to top and add one Sangha, Kazijin, or Suijin that is banished in your deck to your hand. You use each effect of Ryoku Guardian once per turn. So Ryoku itself was actually a normal spell that was used in the manga anime by Paradox. Funny enough, the effects of it were completely different from what they are now. Give me 1 second. I need to blow my nose. Alright, so back to where I was. So yeah, Ryoku itself, and I actually pulled it up. So Ryoku in the actual card game, says you target two monsters, face-up monsters that's on the field. You have the attack of one, and if you do, you give that attack to the other monster, and it lasts until the end of the turn. So it was basically just a way to cut monsters' attacks in half and then give it to your opponent. Um, as a way for them to just clear out the monster. I believe in the manga, in the anime and the manga, I think Yoku itself did cut the life points of your opponent in half and then gave the attack to your opponent's monster. So clever, very clever. Um, the artwork here, I believe, depicts the Gate Guardian in the background as it's gaining the strength of the life points that your opponent has lost or is now have as their current life points. So yeah, that's the thing. And I believe this is funny enough in the image of Ryoku itself. That's actually where the spirit is of the duelist using the card or sucking the soul out of their opponent. The next card up is Prey of Jirai Gumo. This is a continuous trap, and it says you can search summon this card as a normal monster. Level 5, Earth Attribute Insect type monster with 2100 attack and 100 defense. Um, You place this card in the main monster zone in the same column this card was. It is still treated as a trap. When this card, then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls in the same column as this card. You can manage this card from your graveyard to add one Sanga, Kazijin, or Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. You use each effect of the prey of Jiraigumo once per turn. So this card is actually a retrain of the monster Jiraigumo. Jiraigumo, hold on. There he is. Jiraigumo is a level 4 Earth attribute insect type monster with 2200 attack and 100 defense. Only 100 less attack than the original monster, but shares the same attack. No, shares the same defense type and attribute as a monster, but is literally only one level higher. Jiraigumo itself has the effects of that when this card declares an attack, you may toss a coin if you call it right. Um, yeah, and call it. If you call it wrong, you lose half of your life points. So yeah, it was one of those old school level 4 monsters that had really high stats, but had a consequential effect attached to it. Um, this monster's consequential effect was that it lost. Um, you lost life half your life points for it just to attack. Funny enough, it doesn't do that here, but it has the ability to destroy monsters in the same column as it when it's such a summon. So that can be a really good way kind of playing with Mech Knights and stuff, and you easily clear things around. But no, it does use the actual image of when Jiraigumo attacked in the manga and anime. I think is probably less gruesome than what it originally was, which tends to be a good thing, especially if it's in the TCG. But yeah, these are all the cards there for the Gate Guardian. I believe there are no other cards left. Funny enough, the question is here: how do you use these cards? Well, as you can tell here, you can just easily banish the cards that are Sanga, Kazijin, and Suijin to special summon the respective monsters. So basically, making them continuous spells kind of cuts that in half. I mean, the other things you can use stuff like, I don't know, Fusion Gate, because nothing's limiting you here for special summoning them that way. Just that, um, yeah, must be special summon from the extra deck by banishing the above monsters. So I don't really think there's anything stopping you from using Fusion Gate and summoning them. Like, it just says must be special summon from the extra deck. So I don't think that's really a clause. Now, if that is a clause, then oops, my bad. Because I was gonna say, well, use Fusion Gate, but I think the Achilles heel is that they have to be you have to actually control them. So yeah, making them continuous spells and traps actually might benefit you more than hurt you, than if anything. But yeah, that's actually pretty cool, and I actually think that was a great way to bring them back. Yeah, just Fusion monster them up, and then make them and then put them onto the field as continuous spells. Which is not a bad thing there. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of the upgrades to the Gate Guardian, and will you be playing the Gate Guardian cards? I'd actually be very shocked if people start playing the Gate Guardian um, support itself. I think it's only 2 weeks away from release because they only do releases like this either a week or 2 weeks before the actual set comes out. Because I know it comes out in March. But someone in the comment section definitely let me know so I can be informed, and you also help the others be informed. So with that said and done, thanks everybody for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any more things about the Gate Guardian, leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. Hit the notification bell so you guys are informed when I do upload more content to my channel. And social media links are in the description box below. So if you guys want to interact with me there, you definitely can. And you catch me live on twitch.tv/HarpiePlayerJoe, where I'm trying to wrap up Pokemon Leaf Green. We're almost done, and we're making our trail to capturing legendaries and going to train for the Elite Four. So until then, you guys, thank you so much for your support and watching. HBJ signing out. Take care.